A huge thank you to Robert Bishop for sponsoring today's video on Patreon. Kaalia of the Vast versus Maha, Giada, and the first Sliver. Well, we've got some tribal decks. Ours is sort of a tribal list, and yeah, means of cracking Wayfarer's Bauble on turn 2 there, a rare opening hand that we are keeping. Only problem is here, if we have to go for Malakir Rebirth as a land, it will be a tap land, so maybe on turn 4 we'll be able to afford Kaalia, but it won't have haste, so it's probably just going to eat removal straight away. Maybe we're best just trying to go a little bit slower. Soul's Attendant for the mono white player. Alright, well, that answers the haste question then, so we need to be careful that by turn 3 we've got enough of our colours. Or turn 4 even, we have to put mana into this. So we'll just go for the play we were going to make anyway. Wayfarer's Bauble, and probably just crack that on turn 2. Talisman of Resilience for the first Sliver. Goldmere played into the Soul's Attendant to gain a life. A Soul Ring from the black player, and now it is Noxious Field on turn 2. Can tap that and the land will deal 1 damage to each creature and each player, so looking pretty bad for the Soul's Attendant Giada player over here. A Farewell should be able to wipe the board nicely, but we're nowhere near that at the moment. So we'll fix a little bit of white mana, probably go for white mana with the Bauble as well. A Talisman of Dominance this time, missing the land drop maybe though. He's got 3 Talisman, 4 cards in hand. I think he's got access to Wooburg there though. Giada, the first commander to hit play, and did manage to get down in Myriad Landscape as well. Alright, so we do draw into a land, which could make a difference here, because I'd really like to have Arena of Glory take our opponents by surprise, and it will come into play on tap thanks to the Badlands. That does mean that we can hold up Malakir Rebirth as well, which means this turn we can play this for some card draw, the Unholy Annex, and maybe protect the Sephara from dying. Sephara will protect our commander. It only gives other creatures indestructible, unfortunately. This is a flying tribal list, as Kaalia will often be. So let's play the Unholy Annex and see what we draw into at the end of the turn. We don't control a demon, so we lose 2 life. Unfortunately, drawing into that too late, I would have had that down here as well. But our opponents, not being shy, just getting into their commanders anyway. Fully expect to see a swamp into this and blow up all the creatures next turn. Cascaded into Winged Sliver, so we'll trigger the Soul's Attendant a couple of times for 2 life, and all the... is this all? Yeah, all the Slivers have flying, so if anyone else plays a Changeling, that will affect that. Thran Dynamo for the Angel player. Noteworthy that he tapped down his Myriad Landscape to play that. He could have tapped the Goldmere and then used this mana to play the Myriad Landscape and get some planes in. I mean, he might have a rock or something that he wants to play here, or he's holding up 4 mana interaction. Maybe he's just holding up a Swords. Maha does manage to make a swamp, so alright, a Sanguine Bond not going for his commander. And now activating this, even though his commander isn't in play, so we'll get rid of the Flying Sliver and the 2 creatures here. So yeah, it looks as though he's missed out on his opportunity to crack that Myriad Landscape sooner than he could have done. Let's see what we draw into here. Alright, an Ancient Copper Dragon, so I think it's just going to be safer to get down Sephara, especially against Maha. No guarantee that this guy doesn't have a Swords held up, but I think this is the way to go. Could always risk as well getting into enough treasure with this in order to both cast the Malakir Rebirth and the Mithril Coat onto our commander. I mean, that's a more fun play, but is that the play that we should make here? Yeah, let's go for that, I think. So, Arena of Glory, we exert, and then we immediately fly into the right. So this is definitely when it deals damage. It doesn't care about attack triggers or anything. Obviously if it enters attacking, attack triggers don't work, but it is when it deals damage to a player, so we'll risk the Treasure Dragon here. We'll get at least 1 mana to hold up the Malakir Rebirth. So triggering Kaalia of the Vast, haste is incredibly important with this commander. Somehow I've managed to dodge building this commander in all these years that it's been released. But we get a free Ancient Copper Dragon into play, so going to deal 8 damage to the black player. So trigger the Copper Dragon, and we roll a d20, see how many treasure we get here. Alright, we get 10 treasure, excellent. So what we could do is go for Safara, and then this goes on a legend, I think. Yeah, so we could just... Safara is a legend, so we could just do that now. I think that's the way to go, and let's play Scoops, because of course. I'm glad he did that after we hit with the dragon. And tapping the mana this way, I didn't account for the planes originally, but we can now with that treasure hold up the Malakir Rebirth still as well, so hopefully be able to keep our board intact. Safara cares about other flyers, so giving it indestructible with the Mithril Coat makes sense here. Plus we can hold it back as a blocker. Draw a card and lose a couple of life because we still don't control a demon. Probably end up making a demon next turn. There isn't too much life gain in this deck. There is a Sword of the Animist. Probably best to play and equip that as soon as we can as well. Just in case we need to start hard casting stuff. Blur Sliver gives the Slivers haste. And cascades into Mana Weft Sliver, so that will cascade down into a 1 mana Sliver. And they will be able to tap for mana thanks to now having haste. Gets into a Mox Tantalite, and when you cascade into this, it just goes straight into play. Don't have to worry about suspend with that. So they've got multiple additional mana with 5 cards in hand this turn. Two-headed Sliver, a 2 mana Cascade. All Slivers have Menace, so not going to be able to block his commander, unfortunately. Cascaded into Swords to Plowshares, so immediately taking care of our Ancient Copper Dragon. Don't think this cares about exile. Yeah, it's death triggers that cares about, so nothing we can do about this. Go back up to our starting life total at least. Might as well swing in with everything here, I suppose, because, yeah, coming in towards us, the 7 commander damage is the main thing we're worried about, but as soon as he starts getting attack triggers on there, that's going to be a worry as well. Not likely that the Angels are going to be swinging in over here anyway. An Angel of Serenity as well, just unlucky that we're facing off against exile here, so I dare say that some of our stuff is going to go down. Might be that this opens up a farewell for us though. Alright, so gets rid of both of our creatures. The first Sliver cares about casting, so that'll re-enter, but it won't cascade at least. So, yeah, and we've got 6 mana held up thanks to not using the Malakir Rebirth, so we'll allow this and we'll put the Kaalia underneath the Angel of Serenity. We actually have the Angel of Serenity in this deck as well. Now, because we're next in the turn order, we can say no first. I don't know if we have to reveal our answers to whether we put our stuff into the command zone or not. I imagine I think the first Sliver would have had a chance to see that, and if he'd seen that we'd left Kaalia under there, then maybe he should have said no as well, because it might give away what we're about to do. Won't be able to hold up a clever concealment or anything like that, so I'm hoping that the farewell is going to land here. Question is, do we go after artifacts as well? I think we're going to have to against this Sliver player. The 2-2 goes into the left. We lose out on our Mithril Coat, of course, but if it's just going to be a 1v1 against a white player, then I'm not sure how useful Indestructible is going to be anyway. Oh, we exerted that. I forgot about that. That's annoying. Alright, so in that case, are we just levelling up this and using it as a blocker and a means of draining our opponents? Yeah, we can't even do that without using the treasure mana. Are any of our opponents going to get down problem enchantments? I wouldn't have thought so. I'm going to play this as a tap land because, like I said before, it's exile that we're playing against here. So we'll get that in. And then it can be the Phyrexian Reclamation. And we're just holding up the farewell on our next turn by the looks of it. So this at least makes it look like we're not doing anything. Might draw in some spot removal at the end of the turn actually. Lose 2 more life. Alright, it's a Trouble in Pairs. Wouldn't have minded playing that on our previous turn. It happened a few times that. Well, we're just drawing into the cards a turn too late, but I think we're doing alright here considering. Can't really complain. There's still haste on the board for the 5 colour player. Should be able to afford his commander as well. Would have been really good to get down the farewell previously though, because we probably could have taken the Sliver player out of the game. Lava Belly Sliver, these are the attack triggers that I was referring to. Oh, actually this is an ETB. So they can drain targets. And pointing that at us, so he's scared of what we're going to be able to cheat in. Probably swings everything in at us this turn as well. A Spiteful Sliver. So now he has to choose between attacking and getting down his commander. Drains us again with the Lava Belly. So an interesting bit of tech you can use with this is the Blasphemous Act, because you can deal the 13 damage per Sliver straight to an opponent Not sure if our opponent has that in the deck or not, and is definitely going after us. So at least he can't blame us for going for this farewell. Does give the white player another opportunity to hold up protection though, and at that point we're not going to be able to get rid of the Angel of Serenity without drawing into spot removal, which we do have in the deck. So we just need to hope that they don't hold up Teferi's protection or something here. Wouldn't necessarily mind seeing another big angel. Valkyrie's Sword, if they want to put 5 mana into that, can enter with a 4/4. Looks as though they are doing that. So 2 cards left in hand, we'll assume that they don't have too much of anything else to do. And the fact that he didn't get his commander down means that we don't have to worry about Fierce Guardianship or anything like that. I wouldn't have thought he'd have Force of Will held up. But the token does come into play with 2+ counters, so that's an 8/7. Got a 6/7 that could be swinging in towards us. Nope, goes in at the Sliver deck, so Angels versus Slivers here. And could now hold up the Clever Concealment because he's effectively got 4 mana held up with Convoke. But we need to get rid of the Sliver deck anyway because that's just going to keep focusing in on us, so we'll try our luck here. Now we draw into an untapped land. So we'll exile all artifacts. We might as well use the treasure mana then if we're going to do that. All artifacts, creatures and graveyards. No point in doing enchantments. Now let's see if it lands. The white player is holding up priority here and probably gets us on the swing back if we don't manage to wipe his board here, but we do thankfully. So Angel of Serenity now triggers and gives us our stuff back. The Sliver player relying far too much on the talismans there. Oh, they go back into hand, not onto the battlefield. Alright, well we'll just have to replay them again. Let's risk shocking in for Sword of the Animist maybe. Sliver player scoops as you would expect. I think it's going to be a little bit of a race here, so I will get the sword down. Got plenty of basics left to go after. Although we have to be wary of this as well. Might want to make a demon sooner than later. Hopefully be able to cheat one in with Kaalia. An Ancient Tomb is Painland. Only got an Urborg in here to dodge that with. But could start piling in damage with Terror of the Peaks maybe. I put Whip of Erebos in here because I thought we would, one, want to cheat a big creature into play from the graveyard for a turn, but also make use of the lifelink because I thought we'd take a lot of life in this deck. Giada into play, so we could point Terror of the Peaks at that if we can make enough mana. And now finally cracking the Myriad Landscape with 2 cards left in hand. Well, we've got 9 mana with the Ancient Tomb, which is noteworthy. That might actually have been a good draw in the end, because I'm thinking, got Command Tower if we want it anyway. I'm thinking at the moment Terror of the Peaks, exert onto Kaalia, swing in and get Saphara into play. This is a lifelinker, so hopefully be able to gain some life with that. We actually don't have enough red mana, do we, to get Terror of the Peaks and Kaalia down. How is this worded? Oh, we can actually split the mana if we want to, so we could give Terror of the Peaks and Kaalia haste. Alright, let's drop Ancient Tomb then. Make sure to exert the Arena of Glory. Then we'll carefully go Terror of the Peaks, just casting that with 1 haste mana. And then it'll have to be a red mana from here, leaving us with 4 mana. Yep, that works. Down to 11. Terror of the Peaks with the Whip of Erebos in play would be ideal. And then we allow Kaalia of the Vast into play as well. So yeah, the Arena of Glory obviously has a downside, but it's doing some work for us here. 2 damage onto Giada with the Kaalia entering, thanks to Kaalia having 2 power. Alright, and now hopefully we'll be able to dodge a board wipe. It may well be that our opponent has a farewell as well, but if it's destruction based, then the Saphara should be able to protect us for a turn. Would very much like to swing in with that at least once though, to boost our life total a bit. I think it's Terror of the Peaks that deals the damage. Yes it is, so lifelink on the Saphara doesn't work here, but we'll deal a free 7 points of damage over there at least, take them below their starting life total. Oh, and it enters attacking of course, so yeah, alright, that's okay. Can tell I haven't played Kaalia before. So we will gain some life from the Saphara, and that takes us up to a healthier 18, back down to 16 with the Unholy Annex. I really like that this is, I don't think I'd be playing I haven't played Phyrexian Arena in many years now anyway, because it's too slow, but the fact that this is easier to cast at 2 and a black and it triggers at the end step, so you're likely always going to get at least 1 card draw from it, is something that I really like. Obviously you lose double the life from it though, which will soon mount up. Okay, Karmic Guide. Luckily we exiled the Angel of Serenity. Farewell, being really good as ever. They do have protection from black for a turn, but we can give a +1/+1 buff to this with the Sword of the Animist, plus it's indestructible anyway. So we can still swing into the Karmic Guide, not that we've got anything to cheat in anyhow. So if we make a demon next turn, it negates the damage from this, but also we could deal 6 to this just to get it out of the way, because it might be that they pay the echo cost next turn. Alright, generous gift, they're not seeing the indestructible, so they've just given us a free elephant token. That's a mistake from our opponent, so free lightning bolt onto the Karmic Guide clears it out of the way. And we may well see a shame scoop here. Yeah, I'm not sure what he thought this did if he didn't see the indestructible. But anyway, see what we draw into here. It is a Sol Ring, so get down Command Tower, get down Sol Ring. And yeah, there we see the scoop as we were predicting. So it was just going to be the sword onto Kaalia. We would have shuffled there anyway, so I wouldn't have drawn into that plains. But yeah, we really didn't have anything on top there. Plenty of lands to chew through there, so a shuffle would have been welcome. Not that we ever would have known it. So yeah, convincing one with Kaalia. It was looking pretty scary against those slivers, but luckily didn't have much luck getting into his lands. And luckily we managed to land that farewell, which turned the game around for us. Don't imagine I'll be playing Kaalia again. I don't imagine it's going to be all that popular because it's an old commander, but if you do want to see more from it, then I'm always willing to be surprised. Big thank you to the patrons for their financial support as well, and I hope to see you all in the next video. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.